Welcome back, Tribe. Have an episode here recommended by you guys from Johnny Kendhammer. He's only got 500 subs, and he's talking about dating after divorce at 35, his story. Let's get into it.
Then wife at the time had just come home from going out for drinks with her coworkers. It was the first night she's been out by herself in a while. I had gone out that night with my buddy to go to the baseball game. Prior to this, we had been fighting. We've had our ups and downs throughout the years. We had been fighting a few weeks prior, and we're very tempted to end it. We were just not happy. Things weren't going very well. I remember I basically said I was going to move out, which I think probably was more to see if she would call my bluff. I wanted to see if she would even care if I left. So we kind of made it work out for the couple of weeks. She kind of guilt tripped me, saying she didn't know what she would do without me, very much laying it on me that if I left, that her life would be over. And that kind of brought me back in. That's kind of a pattern that we had over the years. I never felt like I could leave. If I did, I was worried what would happen to her. At the same time, I also felt like if I did leave, what was I going to do? I didn't think anyone would want to date me, so I didn't want to lose the only girl that said she loved me. So, flash forward a couple more weeks. It's her birthday now. She comes home. We had been fighting, kind of repaired it a little bit, but deep down, I think we both knew it wasn't the same. And she told me that she had made out with her coworker. At the time, I was pretending to sleep.
Golly.
Excuse me. Pretending to sleep. Because I didn't want her to think I'd been waiting up for her all night. But she came home late, and I was kind of suspicious of that. And I know she felt very guilty about it. She told me right away, which I'm grateful for. But at the time, I didn't know how to take it. I was very emotionally insecure. I didn't know how to communicate my feelings. And
Trickle truth, bro. She didn't tell you the full story. She just told you enough. Oh, man, who knows what actually happened. She doesn't come home crying because she just only kissed a guy. Come on, dude.
I remember I got out of bed and didn't want to talk about it. I didn't know how to feel about it. I obviously felt very hurt. I remember specifically thinking that I got to do something immediately to start making some changes. I'm not going to be able to attract a partner the way that I'm at right now. I don't know if I want this to work out. So I went downstairs and immediately started working out. She came down there to talk to me, but I wasn't ready to talk. So she ended up having to go sleep in her car. She didn't want to stay at the house that night, which I don't blame her. I didn't want her there either, I guess. But I remember I felt bad about that, like I had failed her, but I didn't know how to talk about that. So the point of this video, I'm just going to go over my story about how dating in my 30s ended up coming about. I was 35 when we got divorced, overweight, didn't know how to socialize, addicted to video games, addicted to bad foods, addicted to just being lazy, really. This kind of all went back to me as a kid, though. I can remember, even in third grade, I remember having friends that would have their girlfriend, and I was always jealous, and I always wondered why no girls liked me. What was wrong with me that I couldn't get girls? I was very needy and seeking validation, and this didn't change overnight. You know, I grew up with this all the way up until, I still probably have some of the issues now. But flash that forward, middle school, I remember girls that I would like or have a crush on, but I would never say anything to them. I never felt worthy that I could talk to them. If I did, I felt like I would get made fun of, or I would detract their value in some way. Like, why would you want to hang out with Johnny? He's kind of a dork. So that happened through middle school, high school the same way. Still never fit in. I was the nice guy. I was trying to be friends with girls, hoping that they would like me that way, help them with their homework, talk to them about their boyfriends, just being a very, girls could see through that, just pretending to be their friend so that I could maybe date them someday. This never worked out, so I started to get into drugs and alcohol, thinking, all right, I don't know how to socialize, but if I start drinking a lot of beer or smoking weed, that at least separates me from somebody else. And I was more social when I was drinking. But even then, that didn't lead to anything. I had some fun at parties. I made some new friends that I've never even talked to since because they're probably in jail or I don't know what. They don't have the same goals I do anymore. So that led to through high school, still no girls, and reflecting after shooting these videos, I kind of saw some patterns. The very first girl that I slept with, she did all the work, she made all the moves. I wasn't a leader. I was just a follower, not very masculine. And then my first girlfriend in the Air Force, had we not had to go to different Air Force bases, I'm sure I would have just settled on her because she would have been the first girl that dated me and that liked me.
Jeez,
but that only lasted, 2 weeks until we both shipped off somewhere else. Flash forward, maybe another year, and I meet my ex-wife at the time. I guess at the time she was just my girlfriend. But she was the only one that showed me interest, so I went out with her. I remember the very first day that we got together, she said she wanted a boyfriend, and I didn't know what to think at the time. I was very hesitant because it seemed very fast, and there were some red flags with her. She had a lot of insecurities, just like I did, so I didn't know if that's what I wanted, but at the same time, I never had a consistent girlfriend. So I agreed to it immediately.
Bro. Jeez.
And then after that, it was very codependent. She would get mad at me if I went out without her, if I had friends that she didn't, if I didn't call her every day, or if we didn't talk on the phone every day. She felt like I was either cheating on her or abandoning her. Same with me. If I felt if she didn't call me every day, that she was off doing something else or hanging out with somebody she shouldn't, or I didn't know. So that's kind of where all that started. I never improved any of this up until the time I got married at 23. So that leads into the marriage. I'm not really masculine. I don't know how to lead. I don't know how to provide. I'm kind of just a boy who got married to a girl in the military, So during the marriage, I didn't learn any of these skills. I just played video games, and I still had that codependency. If she was upset, I would do whatever it takes to make her happy. I didn't hang out with my friends because she would make her jealous. I didn't go out of town because I didn't want to leave her behind. And this happened.
He's being brutally honest. It's very refreshing. I wonder how many men are actually a variation of this guy. They won't admit it, though. Some guys will place the blame of divorce on the woman only, because out of anger, because out of being screwed in divorce court, all that stuff, thinking that a woman, because, hey, society did sell us a lie. Once you get married, the vows say until death do us part. But obviously the human condition, especially how society is structured today, you can walk away if you're not happy. And if you're like, a variation of what this guy is, basically not masculine, as he was describing it, just playing video games all day, a boy not really knowing how to actually be a man, Some guys are still in that mindset, even in their 30s. Still, it's refreshing to hear a guy just speak about the honest, problems that he contributed to in his relationship and why it failed. I mean, it was already a failure from the get-go. He had like nice guy syndrome when he met this woman. It was essentially the woman that was making all the moves. And he was just settling into like, okay, well, she likes me. So like, I'm too afraid to make a move myself. So I guess this one's it. And just settles for this one, and then a relationship progresses. Fast forward another, what do you say? Like basically 10 years married. And you wake up and you're fat and you still play video games and you haven't made very many inroads into your masculine nature at all. And you are with a codependent. You can't even separate to do your own thing. Can't even forge your own identity. All the tenets that we talk about, he literally went through almost every single red flag, and all the boundaries were crossed that we say you have to maintain. And the identity formation, being independent, all that stuff brushed to the wayside. It's all here, dude. This guy is like the perfect example of what I talk about not to do, not to be. And unfortunately, millions of men are in this exact situation.
For the next 12 years, gradually I started getting overweight. I just became lazier and lazier. We would have our fun days together, but most of the time, I think we were just kind of coexisting. We weren't very happy. I saw a study today. I was watching a video, the CEO of a diary, or the diary of a CEO, and they mentioned that 56% of marriages end in divorce. And then if you account 20% that are just staying together for kids or financial reasons, you're getting up to like 75% of marriages aren't really fulfilling, or they're not working. So I definitely fit in that category. We were just together. A lot of it was out of fear, scarcity. We didn't feel like we would be okay without each other, or that we would find somebody else. So we did this for 12 years. Then that day happened, August 4th. and everything shifted. I had to make changes. I couldn't be the same guy I was. I started working out in the basement that day. I was obviously upset for many weeks. I was always wondering what she was doing, why she liked her coworker so much, if they were having sex, was she gonna get married to this guy? Just all these negative thoughts. So for the first couple of weeks, I couldn't eat, I couldn't really sleep. I was always worried what she was doing rather than focusing on things I could do or ways that I could improve. But after a couple of weeks, I don't remember what it was, but something clicked in me. I remember hearing, you can't wait around for things to happen. You're not just gonna magically find the one. You're not gonna find that one girl. She's not just gonna come up and start walking up to you and tell you to take her on a date. So, still 35, trying to figure stuff out. Decided I was going to practice social skills. I started learning to talk to people, just everyday people. I didn't know how to talk to girls, obviously, but I could learn how to socialize with other people. I always thought you were just the way you were. If you were quiet, you were quiet. If you're extroverted, you're extroverted. And charisma is just something people are born with. I didn't know it until I seen some YouTube videos that, you could learn this stuff. So I started to take the time to implement. Started getting some practice, realized pretty quickly I didn't want to be in small town Wisconsin. There wasn't a lot of options, and I needed to figure out who I was. So
where'd you move?
35, trying to figure out who I am as a man. I decided to move to Boston.
All right.
And in Boston, I was able to go out on the weekends, go meet new people. It's a bigger city, a lot of foot traffic, a lot of bars to go to. So I was able to start getting on dates, start meeting girls at bars. I started doing a little bit of online dating.
Hey.
And I had some successful dates, but I was still that needy guy. I still needed validation. I still wondered, was I good enough to be on these dates? I still wondered, is she gonna call me back? What is she thinking right now?
Wow.
Is this girl, am I gonna wanna settle with this girl? I still had that idea of,
That's wild.
I guess maybe locking down somebody right away, which is interesting. In that video, they say that 86% of people who get divorced remarry within 5 years. And I was headed towards that pattern. I was headed towards just settling for another girl that would like me. But eventually, through just repetition and learning on YouTube and taking courses and getting mentors, I started to learn how to become an actual man. I would have boundaries now. I knew what I wanted. I knew that I wanted to keep improving. I wanted to, travel.
This is why there's a simp epidemic. This is why women prey on weak men like this. This is why society wants weak men. This goes beyond relationships. Society extracts value from men, not just women, but your employer. When you have no boundaries, no self-esteem, no self-respect, your government, they take away your rights. They take away your ability to implement change in government. Any power that you may have vested in you through voting, they try to take everything away. Every year, they take a little bit away. Because weak men will never fight back. Weak men go along with being abused. This is why they're the golden goose for a society. Weak men never revolt. Weak men always bust open their wallets. Weak men do everything they need you to do. This is why they hate strong men. This is why they hate traditional masculinity. This is why they don't like what men represents, what masculine republics represent. The whole toxic masculinity is just a giant gaslight of we can't control you, therefore you're toxic. That's what it is, man. This guy is showing you what he was prior, and now he's had his post-divorce awakening. He's not rushing into another relationship being a simp and just like, oh, I'll settle for the first girl that likes me and makes it easy for me to go on a date. Nope. He's out here enjoying himself. Yeah, it's a battle. Yeah, he's got to go back on the market, but at least he has boundaries now, self-respect now. He won't go into a relationship with somebody that's also full of red flags and maybe codependent or narcissistic or using him. XYZ, you name the issue. It's there. It's present. And now he's picking based on worth that he's building for himself. It's a good thing. If all men have this kind of awakening before they get screwed over in a 10 plus year divorce, before the government can start taking away your liberties and your rights, before society can chew you up and spit you out and your employer uses you, men would be respected far more. Society would be functioning far better. And all our daily lives will be moving much smoother in the exact direction we need it to. We would be building wealth, safety, security, legacies, our families. But the proliferation of weak men, a bunch that are asleep, and others that are snakes that benefit from the system being this way in one way or another. They threw their fellow man under the bus. But I'm glad that people are waking up. Again, dude, go follow this dude's channel. It'll be linked in the description as usual. He only has 500 subs, but he could probably break down in multiple videos very specific points in his relationship where things were going south. He's introspective enough. We know where things were going wrong. He's hit on some of the major points. And it'd be cool for him to walk men through the process of exactly how he fucked up, what he was doing. And I guarantee it will resonate with millions. I guarantee you in the world today, dude, his story isn't unique. It's very relatable. That's why he got 16,000 views already.
I wanted to be able to go wherever I wanted. I wanted a girl that fit my lifestyle. Yeah. I didn't just want to settle with a girl because I didn't feel I had any options. So about still 35, I decided to move to Las Vegas.
Wow.
And that's where my self-development really started to kick in. I started learning that I started hanging out with people that had the same mindset as me. They wanted to improve. They wanted to get this area of their life figured out. And we didn't want to just settle for girls. So started learning how to become a man, how to set goals, how to build a social circle with like-minded people. And I guess, over the years, I've just kept that same mentality. I'm focused on being able to lead. I was not a leader when I was married or when I was growing up. I was very meek. I think I learned that from my dad. He's very much whatever you want to do. Yeah, we'll just do that. And I was the same way in my marriage. I would always ask, what do you want for dinner? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do today? I was never able to lead. So that's one of the things that has really helped me improve my relationships, going forward. I feel like I've been able to lead on dates. I've been able to show them a good time. I'm able to lead and plan the dates, figure out where we're going, what time we're going to be there, where we're going to next. And I didn't realize it at the time because no one taught me, but that's something that women really appreciate. They want to be led. They don't want to have to think about all this stuff to do. That's what the man is for. He's supposed to be able to lead. He's supposed to be able to take care of any problems that arise. When I was married, if there was an issue with, the plumbing or something, I made it a big deal, like I couldn't figure it out. As you just get experience, you learn that it is possible to figure stuff out. You just got to be a man and live up to the challenge. So now I'm now 40, I'm still going on, I'm still getting dates with girls that I really resonate with. They're younger than me, which I prefer. They're very attractive. They're my type. And this is not something I ever envisioned when I was 35 and divorced. So really, I guess the whole point of this video is just to show that it is possible, It's not easy when you're going through it. It's not something maybe you've ever thought was possible, but you're capable of great things. The more you kind of envision what you want, the easier it is to live up to that or to start your path towards that. And just because you're 30, 35, 40, if you were like me, you might have thought you were too old, but that's just not the case. That's just a limiting belief that you have because it's a new territory. You've never been there before. So it's something you just work through and you'll see what's possible. Now I'm very comfortable with dating. I've gone on plenty of dates to where I'm not worried if a girl likes me. I'm not worried if I'm going to embarrass myself. Like, I know what I want. I know the kind of girls that I want. And that all just comes through practice and getting out there, being vulnerable. I'm much more vulnerable now. I'm much more emotionally secure with myself. I don't have the ego. I used to have an ego where if my wife would say something, complain a little bit, I would take that very personal and shut down. I would not talk to her for a few days just because I was upset. I was very immature. So, just evolving and becoming a man, it takes emotional, you got to be emotionally secure. You have to be able to get over things and to just push through. So I guess the point of this video is just how it's possible. You can still, if you're going through a divorce, I know a lot of guys are. It's never easy. I know how you feel. You're mixed about it. I know it was tough for me. I didn't want to get divorced, but I also did want to get divorced. I'm glad it finally ended. We had that hard ending.
Oh, look at how he thought of himself as an, look, he's made more videos. Getting divorced saved his life. There you go. Advice to men: take care of yourself as though you are single. Never stop putting effort into your physique, your style, etc. just because you have a girlfriend. Because if things ever do fall apart, you will have a massive head start. I got divorced at 29, never dated again, now 64. So happy. That's a cope, bro. Jesus. That woman did a number on you and damaged you. Ooh-wee. PTSD is real. After my heart was shattered into pieces by the one who claimed we'll be together forever. Greg, calm down. I drank myself to sleep every night for 3 months. Golly, you see what low self-esteem does to a motherfucker? I am 2 weeks sober now and I joined a study group. The painful part is I still love him. What the fuck? Okay, she definitely slept with her coworker. Your ability to self-reflect is rare, and to improvise because of it shows your strength. Yes, yeah. 35, and I'm a boiler maker. Feel the same way. Got out of my 8-year relationship 5 years ago and gave up on a love life. Happily married over 30 years. Lost her to Alzheimer's. Now I'm in my 50s and dating again. Appreciate your story. Oh no, okay. I divorced at 24. What? And it took till 36 to try again. Both were caught cheating. It took me about 4 years of working 3 jobs to get all the debt paid off. Fuck. I would not recommend marrying to any man. What the hell? All the preconcessions of having a loving wife, home, and being happy are just fantasies. Asterisk, unless you're attractive. It's always been that way. It's brutal. I'm 13 months post-divorce and it sucked at first, but you see who they truly are at the end, which makes it easy to never go back to them. So I'm telling you, dude, all these guys are just echoing what this dude was when he got married. He was being settled for, or there was red flags there that people were literally ignoring for one reason or another. When you're a man and you're not really, you don't know how to be a man because you're raised in a single mother household, or you're not earning enough money and you can't really provide, or you've never really taken care of your body, so you're a bit weak and you feel insecure about that. There's so many things that stack up in society today that makes it more difficult for the average guy to actually hold down a woman, especially with competition, because now competition is global, essentially, with dating apps. So it's like you used to only have to compete with essentially the big fish in your town. Now you're competing with the big fish in the state, the country, internationally. And to be average is a death sentence today. I always say that. All these problems typically happen to just everyday average dudes, and the hashtag or asterisk, but he's hot, dudes never even deal with these problems. That's the brutal truth. You have to think of the outcome independence, the abundance mentality, the, having women when you want, and your woman acts up, they just get replaced. That's why they're getting treated like garbage. For example, you see those videos on dating apps where all the women are bitching. They're not bitching about guys like this. They're not. They're bitching about the very specific kind of guy they wish they can lock down. That's almost impossible. That's what it is, dude. That's the game, And so most women get a taste of that guy, and then most women will have to settle with an average dude. And some of them are now just outright refusing to settle with, quote, average dudes and would prefer to get a cat and box wine. Hey, it's your life. So, there is a bit of a delusional standard and complete disconnect from the real world that women are experiencing. It's going to bite them in the ass. But, it's misogynist to say this out loud. Okay, sis, tried to save you. Don't listen to me, though. Anyways, boys, appreciate you tuning in. Links in the description below. Check out the second channel if you haven't. Appreciate everybody in the private community, as well as everybody doing the private consults and everybody buying all those mugs. I noticed a bunch of people, and I flashed that on screen the last few episodes, the Hoflation mugs. Appreciate you guys for supporting the channel. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.